Apple is about to do something that is, honestly, slightly unhinged with the MacBook Pro. If you thought you knew what to expect from Apple this year, you might want to sit down. According to the latest reports from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, the MacBook Pro isn't just getting one update this year. It is potentially getting two. One is the safe, boring update we all expect. A new chip, same laptop, yawn. But the other? The other one sounds almost illegal by Apple standards. We're talking about an OLED display, touchscreen support, a thinner body, and even a new camera cutout. This would be the biggest shift in the MacBook since the Apple Silicon Revolution. So, the big question isn't just what's coming next. It is whether you should buy a MacBook Pro right now, or if you should hold on to your cash for what could be the most dramatic laptop Apple has ever made. Before we dive into the juicy details, quick reminder. If you enjoy these deep dives into the Apple roadmap, hit subscribe and tap that like button. Around 90% of you watching right now aren't subscribed, and fixing that would massively help this channel grow. Okay, guilt trip over. Let's talk MacBooks. Let's start with what is coming first, because this is the part that actually affects your wallet in the near future. Gurman says Apple is preparing to launch updated MacBook Pro models powered by the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. These are expected fairly soon. We don't have a specific date, but usually Apple drops new hardware in the spring. Think March or April. Now, I need to manage your expectations here. These M5 models won't be about design. Do not expect a new look. Do not expect exciting new colors. This is strictly a performance-focused refresh. We are talking faster CPU and GPU speeds, better efficiency, and probably some fancy new AI capabilities because, let's be honest, Apple is obsessed with AI right now. They will probably also claim it has the best battery life ever on a Mac, because they put that on every single slide since 2020. If you are currently using an M1 Pro or M1 Max machine, yes, these will be faster. But will they change your life? Probably not. And if you are still on Intel? Well, at this point, you know you need to upgrade. I don't need to tell you that. What is really interesting, though, is that Apple has done this 2 updates in a year move before. Remember, 2023? We got M2 Pros in January and M3 Pros in October. It felt chaotic, but it means there is a precedent. Apple doesn't mind refreshing the same product twice if it fits their chip schedule, and that brings us nicely to the second update. This is where things get spicy. Gurman says Apple is working on a fully redesigned MacBook Pro that should arrive towards the end of 2026. Now, early 2027 isn't off the table, but let's hope for 2026. This isn't another spec bump. This is a proper rethink. We're talking about the return of the thinner, lighter design philosophy, but hopefully without the bad keyboards this time. Yes, you heard me right earlier. Touchscreen. On a Mac. After years of Apple executives insisting that touch doesn't belong on macOS and that Gorilla Arm is a real problem, it looks like they finally decided that, maybe, just maybe, people like touching screens, but the screen itself is the bigger deal here. This would be Apple's first OLED Mac. If you have an iPhone or a newer iPad Pro, you know what this means. Perfect, inky blacks. Insane contrast. Punchy colors that make your eyes happy. OLED also allows for thinner panels because there is no backlight layer. This feeds directly into Apple's current obsession with making everything skinny again. The iPad Pro went on a diet. The iPhone 17 Air is coming. And now the MacBook Pro looks next in line. Then there is the camera situation. The current notch is fine. It's functional. But it's not exactly elegant, is it? The rumor is that Apple is finally moving to a smaller, hole-punch style cutout. This would free up more screen space and make the whole thing feel less intrusive. It's one of those small changes that you won't notice on a spec sheet, but you will definitely appreciate it when you look at the screen every day. Now, adding a touchscreen introduces a physical problem. Have you ever poked a laptop screen and watched it wobble back and forth? It feels cheap, right? Well, Apple hates things that feel cheap. Reports say they are working on a redesigned hinge mechanism specifically to keep the display steady when you tap it. This is exactly the kind of over-engineering that Apple loves to do. I guarantee they will give it a fancy marketing name like Stable Touch Hinge or something ridiculous. Importantly, though, this isn't Apple turning the Mac into an iPad. The keyboard and trackpad aren't going anywhere. macOS isn't suddenly becoming a touch-first operating system with giant buttons everywhere. The idea seems to be that touch complements the experience. It's for scrolling, or pinching to zoom, or signing a document. It's an option, not a requirement. So if you hate fingerprints on your screen, you can just ignore it now. We have to talk about the price. Because OLED panels are expensive, touch integration is expensive, and redesigning a chassis is expensive. Do not be shocked if these new models start at a higher price point than the current ones. It is very likely that only the high-end Pro and Max models will get OLED initially. The base M6 model might stick with the older screen technology because Apple loves to upsell us. Stepping away from the Pro lineup for a second, the MacBook Air is also expected to get the M5 chip. This is standard procedure. The Air gets the power, but not the fancy Pro features. But here's a curveball that caught me off guard. Gurman mentioned that Apple is planning to launch a lower-cost MacBook powered by an iPhone chipset. Specifically, the A18 Pro from the iPhone 16 Pro. This could be Apple's way of pushing macOS down the price ladder. Imagine a MacBook for students that costs $500 or $600. It runs macOS, it has great battery life, but it runs on a phone chip. If they can price this right, it could essentially kill the Chromebook market overnight. So, when you step back and look at the roadmap, it actually makes a lot of sense. Short-term updates with M5 to keep the sales moving, followed by a major leap forward that sets the tone for the next decade. The real question is timing. If you need a MacBook Pro right now, the upcoming M5 models are going to be beasts. You won't regret buying one. But if you can wait, I would wait. We are on the verge of a much bigger refresh. I think if you are desperate, maybe buy a discounted M3 or M4 model to save some cash, and then trade it in when the big redesign drops. But I am curious where you land on this. Are you excited about a touchscreen MacBook, or does it feel like a gimmick? And would you buy a cheap MacBook running on an iPhone chip? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the update when these things actually launch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.